Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be taking a closer look at a really fascinating concept in Islam.
Absolutely.
It's called Laylat al-Qadr, which translates to the night of decree. And we're going to be exploring this through an excerpt from the Quran. And you know what's so interesting about this night is that it's regarded as better than 1,000 months.
It is.
But we don't actually know the exact date, which adds a whole other layer of intrigue to this already.
It does.
Fascinating topic.
Right. It falls within the last 10 nights of Ramadan.
Oh, wow.
But the precise date is unknown.
Okay.
And so that kind of creates this almost like a treasure hunt almost, right?
Mm.
Where Muslims around the world are actively seeking it.
Yeah, and I think that's such a beautiful concept, right? Because it's not just about like,
Yeah.
okay, this is the date and we do this and we go through the motions. It's like, there's this anticipation and this excitement to kind of earn that blessing, you know?
That's right.
That's right.
And so, I mean, right off the bat, the surah that talks about this night starts with such a powerful statement, right?
Yes.
We sent it down on the night of decree.
Yeah.
Can you maybe tell us a little bit more about what it is that's being sent down and what makes this revelation so special?
Yeah. So in this context, it refers to the Quran itself.
Oh, wow.
So this night marks the beginning of the revelation of the Holy Book to the Prophet Muhammad.
Right.
And so it's really significant because you're talking about the Word of God, this divine guidance that really transformed the course of history for Muslims.
Yeah, and it's interesting how you mentioned that it transformed the course of history, because I feel like sometimes we can get so caught up in the individual benefits that we forget that sometimes these revelations or these events have such ripple effects throughout cultures and civilizations.
That's right. That's right. And so going back to what this means for the individual, when we say that this night is better than 1,000 months,
right?
What does that actually mean?
So it signifies the intensification of blessings and rewards. So you can think of it this way: every act of worship, every good deed performed during this night, it's amplified exponentially.
Wow.
It's really an unparalleled opportunity for spiritual growth.
Right.
So, if you were to do something on a normal night,
right,
it would have a certain reward.
Yeah.
But if you were to do that same act on Laylat al-Qadr, the reward is multiplied by 1,000 months.
Wow.
So it's really a special time.
Yeah, that's a really powerful concept to really wrap your head around,
It is.
Because it's like you're saying, it's not just a slight increase.
Right.
It's this exponential multiplication.
It's right. That's right.
And in verse 4, it describes the Spirit descending with angels and every command.
Yeah.
So first off, who is the Spirit? And what does it mean for them to descend with God's decrees?
Yeah, so that's a good question.
Yeah.
So the Spirit in many interpretations is understood to be the angel Gabriel.
Okay.
And he's a very central figure in Islamic tradition because he was responsible for transmitting the Quranic revelations to the Prophet Muhammad. And so when we talk about the Spirit descending with angels and every command, we're talking about, this grand image of angels descending to earth, carrying God's decrees for all of creation on this one special night.
Yeah, it's almost like this direct line of communication between heaven and earth.
That's right.
And it's interesting that, it's not just a one-way street, right? Because the surah ends with peace. It is until the rise of dawn. And so it's not just about God's decrees coming down, but it's also about this reciprocal exchange, this moment of profound harmony.
Absolutely. So the piece associated with Laylat al-Qadr, it's something that transcends kind of the everyday chaos and uncertainty that we experience in our lives. And it really offers, I think, for Muslims, a glimpse of that divine serenity, a reminder that amidst all this turmoil, there's this higher power. There's this source of ultimate peace.
And it's almost a reminder to sort of surrender to that, right?
Yeah.
And to really let go of our need to control everything.
Absolutely.
And just trust in that higher power. Yeah. So, I mean, wow, we've talked about the revelation of the Quran. We've talked about the multiplied blessings, the descent of angels, the Spirit, and this profound peace that fills this night.
Right.
If you could, imagine knowing that you were experiencing Laylat al-Qadr, how would you spend it?
That's a really powerful question. And I think it's one that every Muslim should kind of reflect on, because it really forces you to think about what are your priorities? What are the values and actions that are most important to you?
Right.
If you had this incredible opportunity to really maximize your spiritual growth.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful concept to think about, right?
It is.
Because it's not just about, going through the motions of prayer. It's about really being present and really putting your heart and soul into it.
Absolutely.
So I think, as we wrap up this deep dive, we've explored the significance of Laylat al-Qadr. But I think its true power lies in its ability to inspire reflection and action.
Yeah.
So for all of you listening out there, how will you use this knowledge to enrich your own lives? How will you approach the last 10 nights of Ramadan with this newfound understanding?
Yeah.
Think about that, and we'll see you on our next deep dive.
Sounds good.
See you later.
Okay.